All right, we're going to get started. I want to thank you for coming to our secondary meeting, and it's good to see everyone back. Believe it or not, I'm excited for this school year, and it's actually weird being here in the summer not seeing students, and so it's good to have the kids back, and I'm excited to see them. I'm the administrator of the school, Sean McKinney. I'm also function as the high school principal as well. Most of you already know me, but for you that are new, I just wanted to make sure I introduce myself, or maybe you have a sixth grader who was a fifth grader last year, so you didn't have as much interaction with me, and now you'll have a lot more, okay? So we'll open up a word of prayer, and then we'll talk a little bit about the school. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for our school families. I ask, Lord, that you would bless this year. I ask that you'd bless our families, bless their finances, bless their marriages, bless their families, Lord God. I ask that you would give each of the kids a great year. I pray that you would help them to grow physically, Lord, spiritually, mentally, and we ask that you even bless the time now that would be informative and a help to students and to parents alike. We ask this in your name, Jesus, amen. All right, I want to start off before I get into the presentation just with the few things that you need to know. First off, emergency contact cards must be submitted before the first day of school. That's vitally important for us because if we go on like an away trip for a soccer game or volleyball game and there is an injury or something, we need to be able to look at that card to see, hey, can we administer, Tylenol to this kid? Can we do whatever? And so we want to make sure we have those turned in. And then also, this is going to be for the high school. There will be a PSEO and CLEP meeting. I sent an email about that earlier this summer. But that meeting is going to take place immediately after this meeting in the Johnson Chapel with Mrs. Bruffy, and I'll be introducing her in a little bit. But Mrs. Bruffy is our in charge of our curriculum, and she does a couple other things for us. But she'll have that PSEO meeting, and that's going to be important for you that have high schoolers once again who are looking to be prepared for college, and she'll talk more about that. And then I want to introduce just a few new staff here in the elementary. I know you obviously aren't here for that, but I'll let you know who they are. There's Kendra Zotke. She is teaching the K-4 class. And then we also have Melody Callie, who will be working in the secondary and the elementary. Melody is a graduate of our school, and so we're excited to have her. And she has, I believe, 5 children in school here this year, and we're also excited for them. And then we have Sarah Lowen, and her husband's a graduate of the school, but she also is the mother of one of our graduates. She'll be taking over a lot of the recess stuff, but you'll see her around in an after-school care. And then we have Melody Bruffy. Some of you met her at the open house last year, but Melody Bruffy is coming to us from Fourth Baptist, and she brings 40 years of experience in education, and she's going to be a big help to me, and she'll be a part of our administrative team, but working mainly with curriculum, and then some of you 10th graders will have her, and 7th graders will have her for English. And then we have Eric McKay. Eric McKay was the youth pastor here for many years, and he helped coach some sports and different things. He left, pastored. He's now back on staff with us, and he has taken over the athletic director from me, and also he's doing a director of student life, and so he's going to be involved in a lot of counseling, some of the major programs that we put on fundraising, so you'll see him around, and we're excited to have him. And his wife, Carrie McKay, she is also on staff here. She's taking over yearbook for us, and also a lot of our social media stuff. So if you've seen some of the new things, like we just posted something where our girls volleyball team swept Valley Christian. How many of you guys seen that maybe on social media? Well, she's in charge of doing that stuff, so we're excited to have her. Also, we have Cheryl Taylor, who will be new office staff, working alongside Mrs. McCroskey in the office, so you will see her. And she is actually she is the wife of my childhood pastor growing up, and she is just a great lady. We're excited to have her. In addition to that, we have a new school nurse, Suzanne Burke, and she'll come at this time and introduce herself a little bit, and then I'll come right back after she comes. Why don't we give her a hand as she's making her way up.
right, good evening. So my name is Suzanne Burke, or Mrs. Burke. I am new this year, and I'm excited to get to know your community. We are asking, as Mr. McKinney said, for new emergency contacts for every student, the cards. So you can grab those from me if you have any questions about immunization compliance, or your student has medication needs at school, come talk to me. I'm going to be here right away at 7:30 on the first day of school. So if you have any paperwork or need to talk to me at that time. And then after the first week, my regular hours will probably be around 9:45 to noon. So if you need to get in contact with me, that is how. Thank you so much.
Also, I know several of you are new to our school, and I want to take some time to introduce our secondary staff, and so I will just have them stand up just so you know who they are. First off, we have Olivia Sheldon, and she'll be working with our resource center, and some of our kids maybe struggle a little bit academically. She's able to come alongside and help them. And then Mrs. Lynch, she is a math teacher here, and many of you know her already, and she does a great job for us. Then we have Jenny Taylor, and she's working, helping in Bible class, but she's also in the elementary doing some things for them. And then we have Gianna Gibson. She is doing some of our computer classes and other PE, I think, and some other things. We're excited to have her. Then we have her husband, Zach Gibson, and he's teaching PE and history and science, so we're excited for him. And then, of course, we have Mr. Fletcher, the middle school principal, and you know him. He's the really tall guy, hard to miss. And then we have Mrs. Bruffy, as we already mentioned. She's working with curriculum and teaching for us and a bunch of other things in PSEO. Then we have Mrs. Murphy, the assistant principal in the secondary, and she teaches English. You know her. And then we have Mr. Rosario, and he is teaching Bible class for the 9th grade. He's also the middle school choir director and does a great job. And then we have Mr. Weifels. He is teaching all of the science classes and some math classes and computer stuff, and basically he's a genius. He told me so. But we're excited for him. And then we have Mr. Jenkins. He's standing in the back, and he's history teacher, girls basketball coach, and all those other things. I think that's all the secondary teachers in here right now. Maybe I'm missing someone, but we're thankful for them. Now, I want to let you know also about the PSAT. This is, once again, a new thing that we're doing this year. Mrs. Bruffy will be working with that, and the sophomores in the high school will be taking that, and you'll see information coming out about that, but we're excited for that. And this is going to really help our kids as they prepare for college. We're doing a lot of things for them to help them have what they need when they go to that next step. And then high school students, you need to look at your schedule and see if it is accurate. If it is accurate, you don't have to give it back to us. But if there is a mistake on it, like let's say you noticed you're in choir and you say, I don't want to be in choir, I want it to be in, art or something like that, whatever class happens that hour. You would fill that out. Now, some of the classes you'll see are by, basically, you have to have a special invitation to that class. So in other words, yearbook, for example, there's certain kids that have already taken the yearbook, and there might not be a spot open for you, but you can still mark it. We'll look into it for you, but I want to let you know that. And Mrs. Bruffy and Mrs. Murphy will be at the back table after if you haven't gotten your schedule. And then middle school kids, your schedule is already set for you, so you don't have to think about it, okay? And then in addition to that, we're expanding our presence on social media, so if you'll check out the athletic table for more information about that, Facebook, Instagram, so on, you'll see more of a presence there, and we encourage you to like those different things. And then the secondary students will now report to the auditorium for opening at 8 a.m. to do attendance. So last year, and for the last several years, you have gone to your first hour class. Now you will come to opening here first. This will help us be able to get the lunch orders done quickly and attendance and all those different things that we need to do, and give you announcements so we don't have to take time in chapel to do some announcements, things like that. So first day of school, All 6th through 12th graders will report here. Second day of school, you'll do it. Third day, and the rest of the year, you'll report here first, okay? Whew, a lot of things, and we're just getting started. All right, I'm going to go through just a couple of other things here, and let's see if I can get this working. Sorry, give me a minute here. There we go. All right, just some general information. First off, school starts at 8 a.m. Please arrive 10 minutes early, and we really want to get school started, so make sure you're on time. And then for you that have kids who drive to school, can I just say this? Please tell your kids not to stop at Starbucks first so they can be here on time, because some of the kids who drive all of a sudden show up at 8:15 with a cup of Starbucks in hand. Hey, Mr. McKinney. And I'm bitter, first off, because they didn't bring me Starbucks. But secondly, because they need to be in class. And the truth is, really, they need to be in class, okay? So make sure that they're here. And then school ends for elementary at 2:45, and then secondary at 3 o'clock. With the secondary, we are changing how we do the pickup line. So like last year, you saw at the end of the year, we want to have all of the secondary students picked up from right outside these doors in the front here, not in the back, because what's happening is this: elementary is dismissed at 2:45, and then secondary parents are kind of jamming up the line, and then elementary parents are calling me mad at the secondary parents. So help me out. Go to the front to pick them up. Or if you have kids that are in both locations, park your car, because it's going to take a minute. Sometimes if you have a middle schooler especially, we're calling on our walkie-talkies, hey, so-and-so kid, it's time to go. So-and-so kid's running around in the gym or doing this or that. So we're trying to track down your middle schooler. It'll help us if you park, and then we can make sure the line flows nice and free, okay? Wanted you to know that. And then please pay attention to the school calendar for information regarding days off. Every year we have somebody show up on a day that they shouldn't. Last year we had a couple of people show up the day after the Christmas program. And so they're like, I thought there was school. No, there's not school. I announced it that night at the Christmas program. So make sure you don't show up for school on a day that there's not school. If there's ever a snow day, I will have a text sent out, but I'm also going to report it to the local news channels. I normally stay up pretty late watching it, so if I see it's like 12 o'clock and there's lots of snow coming down, I'm also praying for the snow day. And so I'm watching to see what happens there. But I will try to notify you as soon as possible, okay? And we'll move on now. I kind of mentioned some of this already about the dropping and picking up, but the only thing I want to say really for you that you need to know is middle and high school students, a lot of times, let's say you have a kid that's in elementary and you say, okay, I want my middle school student to babysit this kid. What ends up happening is this: your middle school student is not babysitting that kid. Your elementary kid's being left in the lunchroom, and your middle school student or high school student's going in the parking lot and throwing a football or going and playing, and then there's this kid sitting by themselves. We don't want that. So if you have younger kids, it's better for them to go to after-school care. Do not have your middle school or high school student, quote unquote, watching them, because I'm telling you, it doesn't happen. I know, because I go to the lunchroom, and then I'm watching them. And so I love your kids, but I have to do other things, okay? So we want to make sure that happens. And if there is something, honestly, like let's say you're 2 minutes late, I'm not saying that your high school student can't grab your middle school student, but when it's 30 minutes, we don't want that, okay? And then we'll move on. A couple of rule changes, clarifications. We're talking a little bit now about hair. And last year I had some pictures, so I'm using the same thing, but I just want us to be on the same page about this. And I always tell the kids, our rules are not to say that this is a way that every Christian should be, and this is right or this is wrong. No, I've come to love the word simple. Simple helps me survive. Like, there are some things that just make the school day go easy. If the kids look uniform, that helps us a lot. And I don't like getting into the business of saying, well, that's on the border, that's not. So we just try to make it very clear, okay? So boys should have a neat and clean haircut that is off the ears, eyebrows, and neck. Boys should have their hair a natural color, so you can't come to school with purple, pink, green, blue, yellow, rainbow, whatever. We just want your hair normal colors, okay? And then certain things, we don't want I know there's wrestling hair, hockey hair, basketball hair, you fill in the hairs. There's a bunch of them. We just want normal looking, simple, traditional styles, okay? So here are some examples. Nice, clean cut haircuts, okay? Some of you could even do the receding one like I'm doing. It'd be amazing, all right? Acceptable. These are all fine. They're nice, clean cut. Not acceptable, okay? Now, once again, I want to make this very clear. I'm not saying these hairdos are wrong or bad. I'm just saying we don't have them at our school. I just want simple, okay? So just making sure everyone knows that, all right? Also, not acceptable, okay? Also not acceptable. And I will say this year, some kids, because our rule is like, okay, you need to keep it off your hair and your neck. What some kids have done is this. They have now made their hair go so high that it's not on my ears, Mr. McKinney. It is not, but I need it to be, doesn't have to be bald, but just like within reason. So if I come to you and I say, hey, can you cut your hair? Just cut your hair. We're trying to give you a week to make sure that it happens. Same thing with dress code infractions, things like that. We'll give you a week, okay? And then let me just talk a little bit about dress code. What we're asking for everyone is we want your uniform to look nice and neat. So we want your shirt tucked in. We want you to make sure, boys, that your pants are the right length, that, I don't want your pants to be at your kneecaps, all right? Make sure, don't wear your ninth grade pants. Wear your senior pants for your age group. Ladies, your skirt just has to go, we want middle of the knee, or at least top of the knee, because I know kids grow. We can't have it up higher than that. We just want to make sure that that we're following the same thing. And then I'll say this: if you are in dress code violation, we're not trying to embarrass you or anything like that. We're just going to come to you and say, hey, you need to get a new thing, and we're going to give you some time to do that. And we understand as parents, once again, kids grow. We get it, but I want you to know that so that we're on the same page. And if you have any questions about anything, I want you to know you're not a bother to me. Come and talk to me about it. Hey, Mr. McKinney, maybe I can't get that new skirt or pair of pants right now, but I'm going to get it. We understand that stuff, and I want to make that clear to you. Okay. A couple other things. Secondary grading scale has been adjusted to provide equal footing for our students who plan to attend college or university. Mrs. Bruffy has worked on this for us, and your student now is going to receive more honor points than what they would have normally, which is going to help their GPA. We've had a very stringent grading system, and we like having that, but we also don't want to put your child at a disadvantage. And so what's happening to some of our college kids is our grading system is harder than their counterparts. And so the colleges aren't looking at that and then converting it to their scale. So now we've changed the grades so that when they look at it, it's already have been converted for them. So then your kid will get the same footing as their counterparts, okay? So we've tried to adjust the grading scale to help them, especially that's going to benefit the high school kids. And then the add drop period has changed to 1 week, not 3 weeks. And so that means kids, for your classes, after 1 week, you're stuck in that class. And the only way you can get out of a class If you show up the first day to a class, we enroll you in that class. The only way you can get out is you have to fill out an add drop form that's at the office. Your parents have to sign that form. Because what has happened is sometimes the parents say, oh, Mr. McKinney, I thought they were in choir. And I say, well, they're not in choir. They've been doing something else that the parent didn't want. So we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And so kids, you get 1 week to add, drop a class. And once again, this is for the 9th through 12th grade. Sorry, middle school, your schedule has been determined, okay? And then we're going to skip that, except for one thing here. Health class has been added to meet Minnesota graduation requirements. And I wanted you to know that we're having to restructure a couple of things academically because the state of Minnesota is making us change certain things. So just so you're prepared for that, every kid will have to take health class. That means this year's seniors, you have to take 1 day of health so that you can meet the graduation requirements. Every other class below them, you'll have to do the same thing. Juniors, we're going to try to get you into health class as well this year. Freshman and sophomore, you have a little bit of time before you need to take it, but you will eventually have to take it to meet the standard, okay? Now, the next thing I'm showing you is T-shirt Friday. We have families in our school who sometimes do struggle to pay the school bill, and I've tried to think of different fundraisers, different things to help them. And this summer, I've gone to different schools in our state. I've talked to different people, and actually, our athletic director, Eric McKay, he was at a school in Florida, and he gave me this idea that could help fundraise and help some of the families. And so it's T-shirt Fridays, and what it will be is every Friday, you can wear a T-shirt, but we have set it up where you'd pay for it a month at a time, or you can pay for the whole year. But every Friday, you can wear just a school-approved T-shirt that meets our guidelines, and you can pay for that. You can't add it to your school bill. You have to pay beforehand for that month. But this is twofold. Number one, you get to wear a school shirt or a school T-shirt or any T-shirt on a Friday, and you can come and laugh at all the kids who didn't pay, like you. And then the second reason is it's helping potentially a family to be able to pay their school bill. I think we all know the economy is not great right now, and there are families that struggle. And I'm trying to do anything I can to help those families. I really do care about every person that's in this school, and I want as many people as we can help have the opportunity to be helped. And so even if you say, hey, well, I don't care about the T-shirt thing, but I want to donate to help someone, come and talk to me. There's needs and different things in our school. There's a family I think about right now. Their son ended up with cancer. It's cost them $1 million for cancer treatment. They didn't have $1 million. Well, that family, you know what? I'm going to do whatever I can to help them. This type of thing helps a family like that, okay? So you're able to do that. There's forms out in the back that you can fill out if you'd like to participate in that. And then we're going to go through some of the demerit stuff. Okay, 25 demerits, a letter sent home, and must be signed and returned within a week from the notice. Failure to do so is a 1-hour detention. And demerits is just, hey, a kid maybe has an infraction. Maybe the kid is late for class. Well, that's 3 demerits. The kid maybe gets in trouble, gets into a fight. Maybe the kid is disrespectful. This system is just designed to help redirect that child back into a proper relationship with the teacher, with the school, and ultimately with the Lord. That's the whole point of the demerit system. It's not so we can just punish people. That's not what we're interested in. We're interested in helping steer you back to the right path. And so parents, if you see demerits, you understand what it is. If you look in our handbook, you'll see all the different infractions. So I'm just giving you a sample. If there's 50 demerits, a child will serve a 1-hour detention. If they receive 75 demerits, a child will serve a 2-hour detention. And at 100 demerits, there'll be a 1-day suspension, and then you'll be meeting with myself. And then if they get to 150, we have to expel them. And I just encourage you, parents, we're going to do our best, first off, to inform you, but I need you to do this for me. Okay, I can see the last time that you log into GradeLink, and I'm not lecturing you, but some haven't logged into GradeLink since 2020, and I can see that. So then when your kid gets demerits, and I say, well, it's on GradeLink, well, I haven't checked GradeLink. Okay, I need you to check GradeLink. I will also email you and also call you, but we just want to be on the same page. And I don't want anything to be a surprise to you, so make sure you check on GradeLink so you're able to see the demerit record plus the grades as well, all right? And by the way, for GradeLink, right outside, after we're done with this meeting, Mrs. McCroskey has the little QR code that you can use to sign into your GradeLink and all your password stuff, okay? If you need that. And then grading, with the assignments, they're due by class time each day, but if a student turns in after 3:05, that day they'll be docked 10%. So we want the assignment turned in at class time, but if they do not get it in at that time, after 3:05 is 10%, and then it goes every day up until the 6th day. At the 6th day, it becomes a 0. There are some classes, though, even though it's a 0, this teacher will still ask the student to do the homework. And the reason why is because our homework is meant to reinforce things that are going to help that student to succeed on their tests and their important learning tools. So, more importantly than a grade, we care about the student learning. And I want to make sure you're understanding that. And then athletic eligibility, we check this every 3 weeks. A student must have a minimum grade of a C- in all classes. They must not have incomplete work. And then a grade of D, an athlete cannot play, but they may practice. Once the grade is at a C- or higher, they can resume playing. If their grade is an F, the athlete cannot play in games until the grade is brought up, but they still can practice. And then for a lot of our new students, you're coming to our school maybe from a school where you're not, used to the amount of homework. I will tell you, there is homework in this school. We believe in that. It's not pointless homework, but it's homework to help you become the student that you need to be. So that being said, we're going to give you 6 to 9 weeks basically to really kind of hone in and help you. And by the way, all you students that are here, come and talk to the teachers. We want to help you if you're struggling. We're going to do our best to try to catch things, but sometimes we don't. Don't feel embarrassed if you're struggling. And that's for our new students and our old students alike. Our job is to help you become the adult you need to be. Come and talk to us. We're not going to rip your face off or anything like that. I think all of us can tell you, we didn't like teachers who were unapproachable. So we want to be approachable, all right? And so I want you to know that. And then we'll move on here. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do at this point. I'm going to send all of the secondary students out to do their locker assignments. And so staff, if you'll start making your way there, and then the rest of this just for you parents. Okay, we'll have, so parents, we're still gonna talk. We're just gonna let the students go because I still have to give you a couple of things. I'm going to have Mrs. Borner come and talk about the lunch program, and then after she's done, I will talk about the rest, and then we'll be done, okay?
Okay, I am the lunch lady. I'm Mrs. Borner, Amanda Borner. Okay, so we had, I'll just start off with the issues last year. We had a lot of issues with our middle school and high school coming down to the lunchroom and saying, oh, I don't have a lunch. And I said, you're not on the lunch order form. And they say, oh, can you add me really quick? We want to try to avoid that. It makes for a whole lot of confusion down in the lunchroom when I don't know your kid needs a lunch until they walk into the lunchroom. Okay, so we have what's called a hot lunch app. If you were at our school before, this was what was implemented last year. That was a full-time last year. That is the way that you order lunches for your students. I'm going to say this is the only way that you order lunches for your students. And then I'm going to follow with except for, okay? This is the only way you order lunches for your students. We are giving you a grace period of the month of August and the month of September, that if your child needs a lunch, you are not in the routine of ordering on the lunch app. I understand that, but we're trying to get you guys on board and on the routine of ordering your lunches on the hot lunch app. So we have a 9 o'clock cutoff the day before. So you have all the way to the night before at 9 o'clock to order your child's lunch for the following day, okay? With that being said, for the month of September, August and September, if your child needs a lunch and you forgot to order by 9 o'clock, we understand. Just send an email or send a note in with your student, preferably at the beginning of school, so we know that, you know, coming in halfway through the day and all that kind of stuff is very confusing. But if you can just send a quick email to the office saying, my child needs a lunch for today, I give my permission to add them to the lunch order form, we will add them to the lunch order form. So with that being said, our goal is October 1st. We're no longer adding the day of for a child onto the lunch order form. They will have plenty of options in our concession to order heat up items. So instead of overcharging, charging you an overage price of having them order the day of, we're just gonna allow them to order from the concessions. We have pizzas, Hot Pockets, all those kind of heat up things that they can order things and heat them up in the microwaves that are available in the lunchroom. Okay, so we have fruit and we have cheese sticks and we have crackers and whatever, that they can make themselves a nice little lunch with our concession food. So we will feed your children, we'll make sure that they have food, but I'm just trying to get this into our heads is we're trying to consolidate all the paperwork and get everybody on the same page. So if you're having a problem with the Hot Lunch app, I suggest you get onto that this weekend, start emailing us, and for the month of August and September, please reach out. Don't wait until October 1st and go, oh yeah, there's a Hot Lunch app, okay? So just please help us with that. Okay, so we have all of our hot lunches, we're being in by 9 p.m. the day before, and then there's also, we understand kids being sick, you need to cancel lunches, okay? Until 9 p.m. the night before, you can cancel lunches on your own. You can do that on the app. So if you know you're going on vacation, you accidentally ordered for a week that you're gonna be gone, just go on there and cancel those individual orders, okay? If your child is sick and they don't come to school the next day and you have ordered a lunch and you would like to be reimbursed, I need to know that. And all you have to do is send me an email saying, this is my child's name, this is their classroom. Can you please cancel the lunch for this specific day? Okay, so send me an email and I go through the emails and check it off and get, and then I credit you back the money that you paid, and it will go right onto your Hot Lunch app, okay? I've had people ask me if you can pay like $100 towards lunches. You can, it's on the Hot Lunch order form. You'll have credits that you can put money on there, so it kind of deducts from there, however you need to do it. So that is an option. Okay, so we have the cutoff, we have the cancellation, the grace periods we've covered, the concessions, we have concessions available. So that brings me to tab cards. So every family has to have a $10 tab card that's on file in our lunchroom, and that is for an emergency lunch, emergency basis, okay? It is also available for the child to use if the parent does not tell me that they can't use it. I had some parents go, why do I have a $30 charge on my bill for tab cards? And I said, because your kids came up and ordered off their tab card. So that tab card is designed to allow the child to come up to the concessions and order concessions without carrying cash on them. So the parents have prepaid for a $10 tab card, so they can just mark the money off as it's used. And it is simple, it's a nice system. But that being said, some kids abuse that system. So as parents, I need you to be on top of that. If you do not want your children to use that tab card and it's only for emergency purposes, I need to know that, and you have to voice it to your children. So it's not that awkward thing, they're standing in line with all their friends and I go, your tab card says do not use. And they're like, what? Like looking. So email me telling me they cannot use it, or they can only use it on this certain day of the week, or they can only, I've had parents say they have a limit of $1 a day. Whatever your rules are for that tab card, please let me know. And tell your child that also, so we're in clear communication. So it's just as a backup, if your child forgets their lunch and they needed to order an emergency concession lunch, that we have it there available for them. Okay, and your children on the Hot Lunch app, there's a small, regular, and a large size. Your children in 6th through 12th grade are all regular. They're all regular sizes. And then if they want an extra large meal, it's the large meal. So it's another portion of the main dish that we give them. So so don't order them smalls, because we make all the elementary has smalls. So anyway, so it's regular and larges for the junior high and high school. And what else? We have, they are allowed to bring heat up items at lunches. If they bring heat up items, we're just asking that it kind of be in that 2 minutes or under. Don't bring them 5 minutes and then everyone's standing in line waiting for them. But we do have the microwaves available for them to use. And then I have 2 more things. I have volunteering in the lunchroom. We would love for you parents to come and volunteer in the lunchroom. And so I have a QR code in the back, and it brings you to a Sign Up Genius to put your name in any day that you can volunteer. And that may mean you're washing tables, it may mean you're serving food to the kids, whatever it may be. Wherever we can use you in that kitchen and in that lunchroom, we will put you to work. So if you ever need, if you ever want to come and help out in the kitchen, I ask you just reach out to me. We love parents to come in and be proactive in our community here at our school. And then the other thing, the last thing, when you go into the Hot Lunch app, if your student was here last year, you have to update their grade that they're in. So when you go to access the order form, it'll automatically bump you over to a campus code, all the stuff. So for some reason, it's doing something funny. I feel like we have something like this every time. But it's doing something funny, and it's putting in numbers as our campus code. That is not our campus code. Our campus code is FBS lunch with no spaces. And if you don't remember that, I'm in the back, and it's on a piece of paper back there. But it's FBS lunch, and every time I've done it, we've had to do it 3 times. So I don't know why it's making us do this, but you can do it. It just takes 3 times of punching it in. So I don't understand why, but anyway, if you need help with it, please reach out, ask me, and I'm here if there's any questions about allergies or whatever it is, just let me know. All right, thank you.
Okay, I know you're hearing a lot of talking, so I'm going to try to go as fast as I possibly can, and then I'll be available for questions. So I want to talk about the financial part of the school, and just a couple of things. The tuition's due the first of each month, beginning August 1st, and then there's a 10-day grace period. On the 11th day, though, a $20 late fee is charged, and then bills not paid by the end of the month will result in your student not attending classes until the bill is paid. And any late payment should be reported to the school administrator and the financial secretary immediately. So if you ever find yourself in a situation, hey, Mr. McKinney, I'm going to be late on this payment, I need to know that before your kid is sitting out. I know things happen, but you need to talk to us and communicate with us. You know, I understand the economy is rough right now, but we just got to have communication. But I will tell you, we need you to also to pay your school bill. That has to happen. We get zero government funding. They are not, just to be truthful, the Minnesota Department of Education is not fans of our kind of school. And so we don't get any money. That means that everything we get comes from you. And I value that, by the way. I understand. You're paying your taxes, and you're also paying your school bill. You're paying for school twice. I get it. But we do need you to pay your school bill on time, okay? Everyone understand that? And that's how we pay the teachers. So if you can make sure that happens, that'd be great. And then, let's see here, just a couple of things now that I wanted to state to you. There's several fees that are on your guys' school bill, and I want you to know what they are. I try not to, nickel and dime everybody, but there are fees that we just have to pass on to you. For example, athletic fees, that covers the officials. Game officials are not cheap. Every time we have a soccer game, we have to pay for 3 officials, and they're like $89 each. All right, so every game we have to do that. In addition to that, you'll see a fee if your kid takes foreign language. Well, foreign language, we have to pay for the program that does that, and that foreign language cost is $50 a semester, and that helps cover the cost of the program. And then the registration fee, of course, we've changed that. Then we have a technology fee that we add to everybody, and that helps us to actually update computers, be able to provide what your student needs, especially for your kids that are in our computer classes. There you'll see a fee on your bill. In addition to that, I want to mention, if your kid is an 8th grader and they're taking, or 7th grader and they're taking computer class, you'll have to purchase Office 365 for them. Or if you already have with your family, they can just log in onto our computer, but it's part of their program because we teach them how to use the Excel spreadsheets, how to do PowerPoint, how to use the word processor, all those different things. But I want you to know that, so your student might be coming to you saying, hey, Mom, Dad, I need to buy this for this class. In addition to that, there's the 6th graders will have an art fee added to their school bill this year. That's $25. And then also the secondary will have an opportunity to have an art class for those who are in the high school. Mr. Gibson, his parents are actually professional artists, and so they have trained him, and he's very good in that area. His class will be by invitation only. They're going to have to submit an art sample to him to be in that class, but there's going to be a fee for that class as well, and I believe it's, I don't want to tell you the wrong number, but it's between $50 and $75 for that class for the year. And want you to be aware of that. And then just a couple of things regarding the school that are not part of the PowerPoint, but things that you need to know. Number one, we are really focusing on helping our high school students as they prepare for the next level. Right now, our average ACT score is a 25, and which is very good. And we are 4 points higher than Eastview, who was one of the top schools in this area. And we're in one of the top districts. District 196 is one of the top in the country. So our school is outperforming them. And in addition to that, some of you have seen our school has been voted the top private school in this area now 3 years in a row. We're really trying to help our kids perform. And so everything that we're doing is to benefit your kid as they go to the next level. And this year, once again, we're adding the PSAT for the sophomores. This is going to open up scholarship opportunities for them. We're providing a new program called CLEP. CLEP's not really new. It's been around for a while. But Mrs. Bruffy will talk about that, but I'm going to give you just a little basic understanding of it. As a 9th grader, your kid could begin studying for what they call a CLEP test. This CLEP test allows the kid, once he studies, prepares, he can go to a CLEP school. So Fourth Baptist School in Plymouth is one of those. They can take a test to test out of a college course. So, and it only costs, I think the CLEP test is like 60 or 70 bucks. So your kid could study every year, several classes, so that when they left high school, they could already have 2 years of school done. And college is not cheap. It's a great option that we're adding this year. And so I'd encourage you to go to that meeting and hear what Mrs. Bruffy has to say about it. In addition, there's PSEO. PSEO, we do dual enrollment. Now, your kid has to have a certain GPA to be a part of that. And I want you to really push your kids, especially the high school kids, care about their grades. You need to be on top of their grade link. You need to be looking at it. Why? Because it means money in the future for these kids. If kids can just maintain a 3.0, there are so many scholarships out there for them. And if you can stay on top of your kids, it can save you thousands of dollars. So I'm encouraging you to look at the PSEO option. You can begin that in your junior year, but that means freshman and sophomore year, you can't mess up. D's and F's aren't gonna fly. So really push your kids, A, B, C, to help them achieve those things. And from our end, we're gonna do everything we can to help your kid succeed. And we know you want the same thing, obviously, for your kids. But if we're working together, it's going to benefit your student. But I wanted to make sure you understand that. In addition, I want to help you understand just the school environment. Every year I think it's important to help you realize, why send your kid to a Christian school? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we're not a perfect school. If you were looking for that, you came to the wrong one. But I will tell you this, we have teachers who spend time walking with God, who pray for your student, who love your student. I walk by these lockers every night. I think about your kid and that kid that's in the locker, and I pray for that kid, but I'm not the only one. Our staff cares about them. We're going to have we're going to have kids that sometimes don't always act like Christians, but we as a staff, we're going to do our best to always be Christians and promote Christ. And when there is a problem, you've got to come talk to us. That means this: you're going to have middle schoolers that get on each other's nerves, kids that say mean things, that do things. Why? Because they're sinners. And it's a part of this. But come and talk to us when you have those things that happen. We care about bullying. We care about all of those things that you can imagine. But I'm going to tell you this. We're pretty vigilant around here. We're walking around. We're watching. We're seeing things. But we can't stop everything. We can't. So when you do see there's a problem, come talk to us. And we'll do our best to deal with it. But I will tell you the overall atmosphere of our school, I believe we have a lot of godly students who love the Lord and are trying to do the right things. And if you ever sit in one of our chapels, you can see our kids respond to the messages. They have a soft heart. And that's what we want. And so you're not wasting your money sending your kid to this school. But I do think you need to understand some things that do happen sometimes. I will tell you that our middle school parents, so you that had fifth graders last year that are now sixth graders, I'm going to be so honest with you right now. You need to understand this. Middle school boys fight each other for anything. They're going to fight. And then they're going to be fine. Middle school girls are mean. And they don't forget. I'm telling you. And your middle school girl will probably come home crying at some point. This is a part of this world, I'm just telling you. Don't give up. I have daughters in middle school. I have daughters that have come home crying before. They're never going to cry in front of their friends, but they come home, Dad, you're the principal, can't you do something? Dad? I'll try. What do you want me to do? You know, am I going to go up to some little girl and say, hey, quit messing with my daughter? Well, I'm not. But that's a part of it. But know that the staff, we're working with them. We're trying to help those things. When we find out, we're trying to help them. But sometimes parents, be careful how much you enter into it. Because your kid does need to learn. Like, our kids need to learn to be tough. If we can't survive in a Christian school, how are they going to survive in the world that is not friendly to Christians? So we can't always run to the rescue. Hear your kid out. Listen to them. Love them. Care about them. But there are going to be things that do happen. I'm just telling you. But it does get better when they get in high school. It really does. Now, they still have things, but it gets a lot better. So in the middle school years, don't be discouraged. We can all cry on each other's shoulder. Trust me. When I see my kid crying, you know, what do I want to do? Come on. But I'm not going to. I can't. And you can't either, okay? And we're all in this together, but I want you to know that. And then I'll finish with just these couple of statements. If you ever need something, you can come and talk to me. You're not bothering me. You're paying me to be the administrator of the school. So when you come to me with a concern, I'm going to hear you. It doesn't mean I always have an answer. And sometimes I'll look at you and say, I agree with you, but I might not be able to make that change or do that thing, okay? But I'm going to hear you out. If you have a problem, come and talk to me. I want you to use the chain of command first, though. If there's a problem with the teacher, I want your student to learn to talk to their teacher. If they don't get results, you go talk to the teacher. If that doesn't work, then you go to the administrator who's directly over them. So let's say it's middle school, you go through Mr. Fletcher. That doesn't work, then you involve Mrs. Murphy or myself, okay? But I want you to know that that's the chain of command. Try not to bypass the other person. If your kid's having an issue on a sports team, and I'm going to mention this for our athletic director, sports are one of them. They're great, but they're not. So I want you to understand, varsity sports, for example, they're very competitive. The coach is going to play the people who are going to most likely have a winning result. And that's just how varsity sports are. I tell our kids all the time, if you go to Rosemount High School, I know Coach Orr over there, if you go to Rosemount High School and you're on the girls' basketball team, there's girls who have played for years and years and years, but only 10 girls are going to be chosen at the end of the day. In our school, you get more opportunities. But still, we've got to teach our kids sometimes, like, that little orange basketball is really not that important. What they're getting from the coach and from being in that environment, that's important. Junior high volleyball, we've tried to divide up the teams because there's 50 million girls. We want them to play. Junior high sports, we try to get everyone to play. JV sports, a little less time sometimes. Varsity sports, it's winning. But I want you to understand that, so everyone's on the same page with that. Don't get upset, how come my kid's not playing? I'm going to help you out. They also need to work in the summer too and get better and all those other things. And that's just a part of it. So I saved the talk with Mr. McKay, all right? Okay, so I've said everything I need to say. I'm going to let you be free now. If you are a parent of a senior, I'd like for you to stay here quickly because I just need to give you some information. Everyone else, the PSCO meetings in the Johnson Chapel, the CLEP meeting. Otherwise, you can go out there and fill out whatever you need to. Okay, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to us talk a lot. You're dismissed.